Hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina, and I'm new to substitute teaching. I came from a corporate background, but was really excited to get into substitute teaching and found a lot of resources online with tips and great coaching to help me along the way. But I haven't seen anything with feedback from substitutes to teachers. So that's what we're going to cover today, the top 7 tips that your substitute wants you to know. And if you stay till the end, we're even going to add a tip for parents. In my school district, we have a portal. In that portal, on any given day, there are 80 plus open substitute positions. I guarantee you that a substitute can look down that list and see teachers who have classrooms where they've been there, done that, have a headache still, and don't want to go back. So these tips really could be helpful. Number one, what is your door policy? Is it to remain closed? If it is to remain closed, who answers it, me or the student? If it's to remain closed, do I have a key so that when someone goes out, I can get back in? If a student gets to answer it, do I just select a student at random to be the manager? If they pick up on the fact that I don't know this information, they're going to fight over it. And the door is really a safety issue. And also, if we have boundaries about it, it's just going to be calmer. Now, if it's an open door policy, great. I just need to know that. Number two, what is your bathroom rule? This is the first thing that happens to a substitute teacher. I don't know if you remember how it felt to have a sub, but the first thing the classroom does is try to see what they can get over on the substitute just to kind of test you out. I find that it's the bathroom break. That's the first way they test the substitute. So I need to understand, do they write their name on a board? That's really helpful because I've done a head count and I want to keep up with students. And that's my number one fear. I don't want to lose a student. So if you have a whiteboard where they write their name whenever they go to the bathroom, that's very helpful. It's usually you can go to the bathroom at will. You just have to report to the teacher. But I want to know that. And I want to communicate to the students that it's one at a time. Even if it's a boy or a girl bathroom, I just want to one student at a time to leave that classroom so I can keep up. So I need to set that expectation. And if you have a different rule about that bathroom, let me know. Tip number 3, what is your method to calm the class and get them quiet? If you share that with me, it's going to save me a lot of time. Now, if I don't know, I'm going to use my own methods. I find so far the most useful is the callback method. Class, class, class. Yes, yes, yes. That's been the most helpful for me. Or the clapback method. If you hear me clap once, if you hear me clap twice. But you may have a different method, and if you communicate that to me, that's going to be very helpful. That is what I find is a big challenge when other teachers are roaming up and down the hall and looking into my classroom. If they're too loud, it looks like I don't have any control, and they may be right. So first, let's get the class quiet and calm. What's your method? Number 4, what is your number one reward system? I want to come from a place of yes, and I want to be really positive. So when it comes to carrot or stick, I would like to know both, but primarily I want to know what that carrot is. How do you reward your class? Now, I don't want 4 or 5 different methods. Honestly, I recently substituted for a class a half day. This is 6 pages, front and back, single spaced. 2 pages of it was her reward systems, a card in a slot, tokens, slips of paper. It was just too much. And I spent so much time trying to figure out the reward system that it really became useless. What's your number one reward system? Now, understand that some of your substitutes come from a different era. My system for staying in my seat was Sabrina, sit in your seat, or I will tan your behind. Obviously, I understand that that's not the way we're rolling anymore, but I need to know what your reward system is. And if you communicate that to me, we're going to have a better time. Number 5, what is the stick? So we talked carrot and stick. What are the consequences when a kid really misbehaves? The only time I've had that happen so far is I had a kid leave the class without telling me to go play in the bathroom, and it scared me to death that I lost a kid. So I just talked to him and we went on about our way. But if I understand what your number one method of correction is, I can be consistent. So, what is your stick in the carrot and stick analogy? Communicate that to me, please. Number six, consider scaling back your lesson plan notes to me. These are two examples of half days. Like I mentioned, this one's front and back, half a dozen pages. This one was handwritten, barely a page and a half. Guess which day went better for me? The sketchy notes, just handwritten with the highlights of how that day is supposed to go. If you leave me so much detail about exactly how you want your class to run, number one, I'm already intimidated. I want to do a good job for you. And if you have left so much detail, all I'm thinking of, I'm going to get it wrong. Some of the notes in that lesson plan were a full page on how to run the projector. If I need a full page on how to run your projector, please don't have me use it that day. If it's a simple note of, hey, turn this on and stick the page underneath it, great, I can do that. I come from 25 years in IT and I wasn't able to figure it out based on 2 pages of notes because it just wasn't going to happen. So please consider making it concise, highlights, and just don't be disappointed if I don't do it exactly like you. I promise you, I want to keep your kids safe. I want them to learn something, and I really want them to get through your lesson plan. But if you can just highlight it for me and trust me, I'm going to do a better job for you. Number 7, this is probably the biggest safety measure. What is your end of day routine? And that's where I need the most detail. At the end of the day, when I have them line up, they're so excited to get to go home or to go out to play with their friends or whatever it is they're going to be doing at the end of the day, that's where the chaos starts. So if I don't have the carrot and the stick and the quiet, it's really hard to get them in line in the first place. But then secondly, there's usually like 3 things that need to happen. One group of kids needs to go to an after school program, one group of kids needs to get on the bus, and another group of kids need to go out a certain section of the school. And I'm trying to manage all of that. So I need as much detail as you can leave me. Otherwise, there may be cars backed up in the pickup zone because the new sub didn't get it right. So that's where I need the most help. And now that bonus tip for parents. And really, this is for parents to be or parents of that second or third kid. Edit. I just went on way too long about my inability to learn kids' names these days because they are so unique and spelled with so many letters that don't belong, that they're not phonetic. And I just feel like it's going to be a lifetime of having to spell their name. But a better tip. Today, kids can become victims of predators. Don't make your kids hug people. They need to be able to have that bubble of personal space. And sadly, friends, family members sometimes are predators. That's just a fact. So please don't make your kids hug people. That's just my thoughts. But hey, I have utmost respect for teachers more now than I ever have. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work and the job that you do. We want to be good substitutes for you. So please reach out anytime you want to sabrinastratford.com. My specialty is actually fighting human trafficking and educating people on online sex predators. So if you want to hit up my website for a TEDx talk, I would love for you to visit.